Good morning. What's going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys being here. Happy Monday. 19 days for the first game of the season. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube, live every day, 10 a.m. Central Time. News as it happens. Today we're going to recap Alabama scrimmage, kind of nuggets that leaked out. We'll play Coach DeBoer's press conference from Saturday. We'll pause it, we'll play it, we'll react to it. It'll be a fun show. We'll lead off with Greg McElroy. He's hyped up about this team. He said he left Saturday ultra impressed. So we have a slide and we'll discuss that. I have a question for you inside the comment box too. Definitely get inside our poll today. And that question is, who should be number one in the AP Top 25? It comes out today at the next hour. It's got to be Texas, right? 1,000,000%. I want all the pressure on the Longhorns. So go ahead and vote for Texas inside the AP Top 25. I also have a question for you. Rate your weekend for me on a scale of 1 to 10. All right. Was there a high point in your weekend? Good morning. I'm feeling good. A lot of gratitude. Happy to be here. Happy to be alive. All right. Remember, this week, our raffle, we will spin the pinwheel on Wednesday. You got the Alabama football jersey. All right. So depending on who wins, the player that you want, I'll work with you. It's $10 to get in, up to 3 opportunities to get into the raffle. Bama_YouTube on Venmo, Cash App, Bama YouTube. There's plenty of room, so the odds are pretty good if you want to walk away like Patriot Life did, who has a jersey. So that's how to get into the raffle. We might do something big ticket on Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see what happens. NIC, looks like we have a username virus. Everybody's usernames are different. I like to consider them kind of curveballs. It's okay. We'll sit on it. We'll knock it out the park. This happened before. Everyone's username changed. And we took it hard because usernames are life. I get it. And then they came back. So I have no idea. That's YouTube type stuff. So, let me see who's here. Let me give some shout outs and then we'll talk about Greg McElroy and some of the stuff that he just recently said that I think is, I don't know if it's viral, but it's newsworthy, I guess. So give me a second. Let me get the chats on the screen and whoopsie. Did you guys ever play Mortal Kombat? Man. If we want to go retro sometime for one of our retro shows, we could do some old school video games. What did they say on Mortal Kombat? It's like he'd come in from the side when you were about to do a fatality. I forget what it was. Whoopsie, something like that. All right, let me see. Army 3275. What's up? Good to see you. We got Alyssa. What's up? I see you. Max Tooney. Good morning. We got Anita. What's going on? Sean the Explorer. We got Jeff. Good morning to you. Caitlin the Boss. I already know you, man. We got Chris from New Jersey. We got Mindy, a.k.a. Miss Careless, checking in. We got King's Family Reacts. We got our boy Chad Kennedy. Chad Kennedy, I like Chad Kennedy clearly, but you also have Smitty and Hertz. I mean, that's how true to the core you are. All right, we got Jeff. We got Larry Large. I'll always know Larry Large. It doesn't matter what your username will read. You are Larry Large for life, dog. I got Anna. What's up? Anna from the ATL. Farm Boy 1865. That's cool. Yeah, Scorpion. Right? He would shoot out whatever it was and he'd bring you in and just that uppercut was deadly. Did anyone play with Raiden? He would like fly. All right, Efron, what's up, man? Too easy. Got you. Seth Mitchell, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Rocket Town. Joshua, what's up? 34 3,400. Got to roll Tide. All right, cool. Let's do it. All right, so good morning to everybody, and thank you, and welcome to today's show. All right, so Greg McElroy, he has a radio show, and, he played the game. He's from, he's a Bama guy. But I think he's done a good job kind of distancing himself in terms of his national role. I've never had a problem with him. I actually think he has really good stuff. So anyways, he went to the scrimmage on Saturday. Was one of the kind of the chosen few, and, he's worked to achieve that level within his career. And the main thing that kind of stood out was from the jump, he was like, the team was better than I expected. And kind of talking about the Alabama offense, said it was very fluid, and he was quick to point out, a lot of positives on Ty Simpson. Said that he was decisive, he has a quick release. And he said that really there was only kind of one bad play during the scrimmage that Ty was involved in, and it seems like that was more on the receivers than it was on Ty. He said he made the play of the day, and from what I heard, that play of the day was a play where Ty Simpson got the football, kind of scrambled out, and found, I think it was Jam Miller for a touchdown. I think like people's heads were turning on that play. He said that all quarterbacks should feel good about where they are, specifically Ty. And I think clearly, and I'll play Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference here in just a minute, and we'll pause it. We'll start with the quarterbacks. But I think it's Ty, Austin, and then Keelan Russell. Does it matter who's 2 or 3? Not necessarily. It definitely matters who's 1, but it's always been Ty Simpson. It's been Ty Simpson since after the spring practice or the A-Day practice. You can't be mad about that. I think it would be cause for concern if, maybe he was kind of slipping, but I don't think Ty has ever been slipping in the quarterback battle, the quarterback competition. So as you know, and as you heard, the timeline will be probably after that second scrimmage, which will be this coming Saturday. That's fine. We're in a really good spot. So Greg McElroy with, some verbiage this morning that kind of tells us kind of what we, already kind of anticipated. So what we're going to do on the show is I'm going to go over, maybe one more slide, and then I'll pipe in Coach Kalen DeBoer, and then I'll go back to the slides, and that's kind of how the show will work today, and I'll get some fan interaction. But he did have this to say, and I guess and I've been pointing this out too, at least asking a question, and I'd like some feedback here. So in terms of like the concern, and Greg McElroy said, he's like, if there's any cause for concern, it's the special teams. And I've been saying this the whole time, and he didn't say that he saw missed kicks or this and that. He just these guys haven't played. Connor Talty's, I guess, kind of a returner. Peter Nataro, he just got here. Alex Oshbroff, he just got here. Blake Dowd, he just got here. David Byrd, he just got here. So out of the, 5 guys listed here, there's only one guy that kind of played, and that was Talty. And these were 0 meaningful snaps. So, and that's something that I've been continuing to question, because if this area is not tightened up, then I think that, it's going to be tough to win tight games. Specifically tight games. And I think it's going to cause frustration at times if this is kind of the weak point. So I don't know. Something that I've been thinking about, I'm sure you have too. It just makes sense. These guys don't have any type of experience. And I still think that David Byrd looks like Pablo Escobar. I do. Right? Do they not? All right. As you know, our summer show sponsor is Sonic. West Memphis, Arkansas. I'm here in Arkansas, I-55, I-40. I appreciate you guys for supporting us during the summer. I really, really am grateful for that, so thank you so much. And kind of lead off with the quarterbacks, and I'll go to Coach Kalen DeBoer after this slide. But, kind of the high points were that there were no interceptions in the scrimmage. Now, are you like, oh, man, the secondary isn't good? No, that doesn't mean that. That means that the quarterbacks make good decisions and that the schematics are rolling, right? All quarterbacks, right, had a good showing. The completion percentage right now is around 65%. Ty and Austin specifically look sharp, and you'll hear that from Coach Kalen DeBoer in just a second. And he said that Keelan Russell is progressing very nicely, and he's right where he needs to be. So I don't think that during this whole quarterback competition, I don't think Keelan has slid down the depth chart at all. I think he just continues to take steps forward. And we've heard really good things about him. and kind of just the whole different playmaking ability that he has. Remember, the guy just got here. So quarterback decision likely coming after the second scrimmage. No interceptions and a few touchdown passes. And, now we'll go to Coach Kalen DeBoer. All right, so here's Coach Kalen DeBoer following Alabama's first scrimmage, and he'll start out talking about the quarterbacks.
Thanks, Coach. Start with Dick here on the far left.
Yeah, we'll get out of the way. How'd the quarterbacks look?
I almost just went to it without even you asking, but I was like, listen. The biggest thing with those guys, the quarterbacks, the question is, they've done a great job, first of all, taking care of the football. No picks today, and a few touchdown passes. I don't know the exact number, but a few touchdown passes between all three of them. And the completion percentage over the course of camp for all three has been in that, range that we want. Like to have a minimum of 65%. And they just did a good job being consistent. But they've taken care of the football. I think there's maybe 3 picks all camp. When you talk about 7-on-7 drills, team drills, I might be off 1, probably not off 2, but they've done a good job taking care of the football. And I think the first week just missed a few plays. The last practices, finding the ways to get explosives. I think, commanding the huddle. I think your 2 guys that have been around the offense the longest, Ty and Austin. When they get in a huddle and they got to rattle off a play, they're sharp and confident with it. Keelan's still learning those things, but he's doing a great job. The progress is something that you'd hope for, and he's right there. So, explosive opportunities, they got the ball there. They delivered the ball. And timing, I feel like very few times are we in a spot where we're not throwing on time, not confident with where we should deliver the ball. So from a timeline, because I know that's kind of what you want, I feel like we're getting closer. I would have said before camp, we definitely got to make a decision by the time we get done with the second scrimmage, and I would anticipate for sure that being the case. And we'll see kind of how the next few days go. But it's 2 good showings, I think, especially by Austin and Ty again today, and again Keelan making the progress we'd hope for. You can see what his ceiling is going to be. It's just a matter of more reps.
Yeah, I think as Chris from New Jersey pointed out inside the comment box, something that definitely made my ears perk up just from hearing him talk about the quarterbacks following Saturday's scrimmages, kind of talking about fall camp as a whole and saying that there's only been 3 interceptions that these guys have thrown in game situations. That certainly is very positive for a multitude of reasons, and I think one of the things is you can't turn the football over as a quarterback. I don't care if it's Ty, I don't care if it's Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, whoever it is. Turnovers will kill you. They will put you in a bad spot. And as challenging as Alabama's schedule is going to be, especially on the road, you can't make bad decisions. And that's something that Ryan Grubb has continued to compound on, is the fact that they need a quarterback that is not only going to throw a catchable football, but that doesn't put the team in a bad position by throwing, a turnover or something like that. So that is very good to hear, specifically against a secondary as talented as this secondary is, because let's face it, this isn't a gas up to say that the secondary, is good. We know who's coming back, right? You have a problem with Damani, you have a problem with Xavier, you have a problem with Dejon Lee, you have a problem with any of the safeties. These guys are good. So I think that is probably the most notable thing, is that there's only been 3 interceptions kind of in game situations so far that the quarterbacks have made. So kind of a testament to maybe, the quarterbacks, first of all, and the offensive schematics, number 2, offensive line holding up. One thing that I will point out too, and this was in Coach Kalen DeBoer's opening, is you had 2 players that were out on Saturday, and that is Jaden Roberts and that is James Smith. So one on the offensive line, one on the defensive line. He didn't say that those injuries are going to be long-term. He didn't really, there was no timetable given, but it doesn't seem like they're serious. The problem I have is Jaden Roberts. The crazy thing is this guy, this last week, he was practicing with the 2s, which I thought was really weird. It's like Caden Proctor doesn't practice with the 2s to my knowledge, and Parker Brailsford doesn't either. So why is he practicing, with the 2s? And then to see that he's injured again, man, that's a little bit frustrating early in the preseason, because this is where Jaden Roberts got injured kind of the same time last year before that opener. Remember, he had surgery on his pinky or whatever. So I'm hoping that Jaden Roberts, we get the best version of him, because I really think that stalled out the offensive line last year, because really you had struggles at right tackle and you didn't have Jaden Roberts, who was 100%. I mean, if that guy can ever get 100%, we're rolling. But good thing for Geno Vandermark that he's so versatile and he can hop in if Jaden Roberts can't go. That was kind of something that stood out to me early in the press conference. We continue with Coach Kalen DeBoer. This is the second question from Saturday's press conference following the scrimmage.
Jumping to the Red Sox, go to Charlie.
Yeah, Coach, just sticking with the offense, what do you see from the backs today from a run game standpoint?
I thought Jam started out really well. I think the offensive line did a nice job creating some seams for Jam to hit. Got to the second level, broke a couple tackles. I thought it was one of the better showings I've seen Jam have in a scrimmage. And then, Daniel Hill is a guy we're getting more and more comfortable with. He's big back, but I think he's deceiving when it comes to what he does from a skill set standpoint, because he can catch the ball in the backfield. Dre has been consistent all camp long. Thought he poured a couple runs up in there. Did a nice job. Maybe when there's not even something there, just moving the pile and getting those 3-yard gains that are important to setting your offense up for good down at distances. Rich continues to do his thing too. So all of them, I think Jam certainly had the best day, and that's been consistent. I feel good about all of them in pass protection, first with their responsibilities and the ability to go up there and execute too and get the job done. With blitzes and things like that, our running backs doing a good job, and when they get out, they've been effective pass catchers as well.
That's one of the things that I love about Jam Miller, and I've talked about this many different times. I continue to be on the Miller train, and I've been for a very long time, as you guys know. But the guy catches the football so well out of the backfield. You catch that guy in a wheel route, he's money. I mean, he's already caught a couple touchdown passes, to my knowledge, that I can remember specifically against Georgia. I think there was one against South Florida and somewhere else. And I've seen the other running backs catch the football well, which is so important, right? And he did mention Daniel Hill. By the way, I stream the video game sometimes in the evening time. I'm on my second game on my second season. And Daniel Hill, who Coach Kalen DeBoer just mentioned, on my second year of this dynasty, is an absolute monster. I don't know. Somebody said in real life that he's closer to 250 pounds or maybe I have no idea. He's a big man on the video game. It's crazy. I ran last night. Did anybody see last night? I ran for like 270 yards with Daniel Hill. It was crazy. So my point is, back to real life, the running back room is so deep. I love the fact that these guys are healthy. He didn't mention, the only two running backs that he didn't mention was Riley and A.K. Deer. Those guys are at the bottom of the depth chart. Being at the bottom of the depth chart doesn't mean that you're not good. That just means that that's where you are for this point in time. But very positive in terms of picking up blitzes. Having him said that Jam Miller had the best scrimmage that he's seen, in 2 years, I think is very promising. Let me ask you this inside the comment box, and I think we can all agree on this. Jam Miller last year was underutilized. I didn't feel, and I kind of felt like this for all the running backs. They never really seemed to get the running backs in a true rhythm. Now, I certainly don't think that Jam Miller is going to run for 1,000 yards. That would really surprise me. I don't think you have to, because you have such a stable. But what I'm against is if a running back is hot, if a running back is like, got it, keep feeding him, right? Don't take away the fluidity of the backfield, because I think when a running back is like certainly hot, and I don't care who it is, if it's Jam, if Richard Young's got the hot hand, if maybe Jalen Washington is doing his thing, whatever, keep feeding that running back. You have other running backs that you can go to when that running back needs a blow, but I hate sometimes or I dislike rather, is like when you pull a running back out that is really feeling it. It seems like it takes a little bit of time for that running back to get into the zone, and these running backs are so good that they can make you miss, they can break long plays, but you have to give them the opportunity to stay hot. You see what I'm saying? We continue. This is the third question from Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference from Saturday.
Just want to go to the middle room to Katie.
With Jaden out, just kind of how much rotation were you having to do at guard with Cam and Geno and those guys, and just overall, what did you see from the offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, with Jaden out today, the rotation was less. It was kind of those guys in there, left guard Cam, right guard Geno, and so that was kind of our lineup. And that's more than likely kind of what it looked like before camp, and that hasn't really changed much with the main core of 6 guys kind of competing for those spots more days than not.
Chase in the back left.
Like I said, and I asked you inside the comment box, I guess on the scale of 1 to 10, kind of the level of concern about Jaden Roberts being held out. I'd probably say low right now. I'd probably say 4 out of 10. I haven't heard anything that makes, me too worried. But if we get to the second scrimmage and he's being held out again, I think kind of alarm bells go off and you're like, what's happening? And this is a very crucial point. And I'm not trying to make like a mountain out of a molehill, but like Jaden Roberts, this guy is a 900-pound squat. This is a guy who's referred to as the Hulk. This is a very important part of Alabama's offensive line, and we start having early season issues with guys kind of dipping out. And thankfully, you got somebody as versatile as Geno that could step in, and a couple other guys are starting to cut their teeth at the guard position. But I don't want this to become a thing to where he's like 40%, 50%, 70. Like, is he healthy or not? Can the guy go when, we play Florida State? Because he's crucial. And I still believe in him. And I honestly feel if he would have played at 100% last year, Alabama offensive line would have been that much better. So something that I'm watching, not really concerned of at this point in time. And Coach Kalen DeBoer doesn't either. So I guess we'll have to just wait and see kind of the progression. But it is something that I'm watching for sure. All right, next question from Coach Kalen DeBoer following Saturday's scrimmage.
What did you see today that you would say was disappointing or concerning?
So I mentioned Jam getting some good runs the first couple of plays of the game. Obviously, that meant there were some seams. And so the first drive in particular, some seams. And so we got to be ready to play, gap integrity defensively. But I didn't feel like over the course of the scrimmage, the defense had an issue with the run. So just being ready to go with the first couple plays. The offense got down the field pretty quickly. Defense did a nice job anchoring down and keeping them out of the end zone, though, at the end. So some good give and take. When I say that, that's kind of the first drive only. But I thought they did a good job. And so then on the alternative, what you'd like to see is the offense continue to execute, right? And the run game. And it wasn't like they were bad, but those explosives that you want to try to see, certainly the defense did a nice job of clamping it down. So you just I sit, right, wearing the headphones, and every single play, if I flip from one side to the other, there's complaining and the guy's upset, and the other side, there's a crew that's pretty happy and ready to go play the next play. So, but I think there's a good give and take. So I can't say that there was anything I was just like, man, we are in trouble or we're nervous about this. So, and again, we're playing some young guys there defensively. I know James, I mentioned, has been out, so getting good rotation, guys getting a lot of good reps.
All right, a couple of housekeeping things. The chat right now, it usually has like your real usernames, but nobody has like been blocked or like banned. It's just kind of this happened before, like a month ago, about a week ago, and then the usernames kind of fell back in line. So I don't even, that's a YouTube thing. It came back. So if you're out there and you see like a weird name by your name, just don't worry about it. Just consider it a curveball and just pass through it. I heard that, the running backs kind of, saw some seams and stuff. And I think if you think like what is concerning or what was concerning last year was the fact that teams wanted to run against Alabama. We talk about that frequently last year. It's kind of our frustration with Alabama's ability to stop the inside run. Is that something that the coaches saw on Saturday? Is the running back, was the offensive line doing that good of a job? Were the running backs that good? Or do we have another issue with like stopping inside run? I don't know, because you can't really tell from a scrimmage. It's like, yeah, the running backs are good, but the inside, defense, isn't what it needs to be. I don't know, but I think cause for concern right now, like Greg McElroy said, and I've been on this, special teams experience or lack thereof. I don't know, maybe the second team overall depth from the offensive line, but that seems to be getting a little bit, tightened up as we kind of push forward. I'm trying to think what else. There's not too much. I think we're in a pretty good position. I think even Coach Kalen DeBoer kind of had a hard time answering that question. Maybe something to chew on, but, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not like all sunshine and roses. There's things that you have to tighten up on, but you're in a good spot right now. Next question.
Right, Will.
Coach, there's a lot of depth on this team, rooms like the wide receivers, defensive backs. How did you see that depth on display in the scrimmage today, and what's impressed you throughout camp and even from the spring?
Yeah. Just new guys popping up, right? Guys that you would expect to make plays, but one day, you got Germ. You talk about receivers. So you got Germ making a lot of plays. Today, Horton getting his opportunity, and Rico just doing the little things that matter, Cole Adams made a nice play today, one that, was really good to see. The depth, guys understanding, man, I got to go out on a day when we got a scrimmage. I got to go out and prove it. And so, especially those ones that maybe haven't got as many opportunities or know that they're just right there kind of hovering on between a 1 and a 2. And so the depth thing, we have a lot of positions, like I think about linebacker and O-line, where we got a lot of upperclassmen and guys that have a lot of experience. And then all of a sudden it drops down, to where all of a sudden you're playing with Michael Carroll and Jackson Lloyd at tackle. And that's the part that is nice to see. You wish it wouldn't necessarily have to be that way. You'd love to have some maybe redshirt juniors, and Olas is doing a good job and things like that. But, those young guys at maybe offensive line, I think linebacker is a lot the same. Just really getting a lot of reps in there. You got the Deontay Lawsons and that crew of upperclassmen, and then you got the crew that's incoming freshmen. But I love the depth we're building. Those guys are going to be important, not just on defense, offense, but special teams. They're going to be really critical. We played a lot of freshmen last year. I think most in the SEC by far, and I think one of the top 3 in the country. I think close to 1,600 snaps with the freshmen on special teams last year. So it's good for those guys to get out there and do the fundamentals that are especially transferable from maybe defense and tackling to special teams.
Yeah, that's Coach Kalen DeBoer talking about kind of the depth of, some of the positions. I heard that Cole Adams made like this ridiculous play, and I have a question on here, is which position has the most quality depth? I think, it's probably wide receiver, and then probably the wolf position, and then I guess you could go to the secondary, right? There's so much depth on, this is Alabama. There's depth everywhere, but the wide receiver is crazy. And, it seems like we're kind of having a mini crash out inside the comment box. Yo, thumbs up. Just can we relieve April? Thumbs up if you could see the comments. Nobody's been blocked, so just carry on. But I think, the depth, like hearing Cole Adams, somebody that we don't talk often enough about, he's going to make plays. We've heard about Jalen Mbakwe, and you know what I love about the wide receiver room? All these guys have developed these individual storylines that we are tracking. Like Ryan Williams, he has his own, empire. Isaiah Horton has been an absolute dog this summer. He is that guy right now. I think he caught a touchdown pass, 6'4", 210 pounds. You have Journey Bernard, probably the most underrated wide receiver in the country. The guy is, steady Eddie. You have Rico Scott, who ran 23.5 miles an hour. You have Jalen Hell, probably one of the best comeback stories in college football. I think Jamarcus Shepard said, who's the wide receiver coach, he said he'll tell the story about Jalen Hell for the rest of his career. That's how crazy that injury is to have him back. You have Cole Adams, where's he going to play? He's doing his thing. You have Jalen Mbakwe, who just switched over. He's making plays. Right, Shagawan. Bubba Hampton's doing his thing. He's back from an injury. You have Lazier Brooks. He's in a boot, so we're trying to figure out, what's the status on him. And then you have Derek Meadows, 6'5", who had a very nice A-day practice, and I think he's coming along too as a freshman. So that wide receiver position is absolutely crazy. All right, and that's Adam, not April. All right, so you good on the comment box? You got to take it. We're good. It's Monday. We chill. All right? 19 days. We can get through it. All right? All right. We continue with Coach Kellen DeBoer.
Mike, far left.
So what were you able to get from the tight end position compared to where you were in the spring during scrimmages?
Yeah. They're really consistent. I'm trying to think. There was couple nice just moving the chains type things, consistency. Can't say that there was a lot of explosive plays out of the tight ends, but They are extremely critical as far as moving around. You guys know we do a lot of shifting and motioning. They're involved in protection the next time they're out. I thought they were really consistent. Again, not a lot of explosiveness that we saw from them. The explosiveness came from the other guys we're talking about in the skill area. So I'm pleased with where it's going. We lost two really good ones that could do some things, especially up front when it comes to big bodies and having to play SEC, football. And I think we can probably continue to get better blocking at the point of attack, and especially maybe in short yardage or goal line situations, continue to get there. But that's a whole unit thing too. It's not just on that position.
Go back right, PG.
I think one of the things that he said about the tight end room that kind of made my ears perk up right now was the fact that he said no explosive plays. That's like the least thing that I want to hear from the tight end room. But I've told you before that's kind of another thing. I think the tight ends will be serviceable, and I'm hoping that somebody in the tight end room kind of stands out a little bit. Do they need a standout at tight end? Probably not, because their wide receivers are just, probably one of the best units in the country. But it would be nice if you had a tight end that you're like, we need to feed this guy. Is that a young Marshall Pritchett? Is it a Caleb Edwards? Is Josh Cuevas really going to be that guy? Is anybody in that room truly dynamic? And I know that might hurt people's feelings because you're like, well, everybody here is the best. Well, I don't know. For the last several years, we've been kind of, sitting in the pumpkin patch like old Linus, waiting for a ultra dynamic tight end to come over here. And it's just like, well, maybe that's what they don't need within this offense. But I'll tell you what, last year they played a lot of 2 tight end sets, right? A lot of 12 personnel. Maybe that was kind of by design because you didn't have a quality right tackle, but I saw Robbie Oots there a ton. I saw CJ Dupree out there a ton. I love me some Robbie Oots. In fact, I saw him catch a pass at the Seahawks. But, do we have tight ends that can be elite inside the red zone? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I do like Cuevas, I do have to say, but in terms of, is this the overall best unit on the team? I don't think so. We'll continue with the next question.
Hey, Coach, what are you looking for in terms of little things and intangibles when it comes to a first scrimmage of fall camp?
Yeah, first of all, guys feeling confident when they break, whether defensively lining up, offensively breaking a huddle or running out and doing it confidently. And I've really felt that was the case. We scrimmage, and there's a lot of install that gets put in each and every day. And so when you first put that in, there's a lot of coaches that are kind of like hovering, right? Trying to get the guys lined up. And, from my standpoint, you get to Wednesday, Thursday, you got a big scrimmage Saturday. You're wondering if how confident they're going to be. But I thought that was really good. I thought the coaches didn't hold back. I thought there's base stuff that they did, but also, everything we've installed, they wanted to find out how vulnerable we were or how hard we could attack and push. And so we challenged our guys, and I thought confidently, and you can hear the confidence come out in communication. A communicating team is usually a confident team, just confirming things. That tells you, where you're going, and it also confirms that your buddy, behind and front next to you, that he knows what he's doing too. So you're on the same page. So I think that's really where it starts. Communication. Defensively, just really not like blown coverages, things that just a guy completely being out of position. Forcing people to win their one-on-ones is really what it came down to a lot today, and who could out-execute.
I mean, I don't have a lot to say there about that particular, the question or the answer there. But I guess, I can maybe like the communication standpoint, and that might come a little bit more with ease being year 2 and being that Ryan Grubb is here and that the players understand kind of the schematics, and you have Nick Sheridan back. There's just a lot of familiarity on the offense and on the defensive side of the ball, which I think makes communication a lot easier. Whether that's on the defensive side, you have a signal caller like Justin Jefferson was put in that situation last year where he had to call the plays. You have Deontay Lawson, and I'm sure they're bringing up to speed Nakai Hill-Green, who's a linebacker that I heard did really well on Saturday. So you have good depth at the inside linebacker. You really do. And I don't think Deontay Lawson was 100% for that game, for this scrimmage this past week, but that's another thing. Next question for Coach Kalen DeBoer.
Last question will come from Blake here in the front right.
What did you see from the pass rush and who kind of made plays in that area?
Yeah, I'd say the pass rush. And I think the offense does a good job of doing things to slow down the pass rush to counter it, because that we know that there's some guys that can get home and you can't leave them one-on-one. So offensively, there's some good schemes and things that are going to keep that in check to keep our quarterback upright. That's one of the staples and one of the most important things of our offensive success is being able to have that quarterback, not sit back there and be completely comfortable, but you got to keep them upright. We got to have them out there. And so I think the offensive line probably did a better job when there was one-on-ones. Guys did a good job. I think LT continues to do a good job. I'm really excited about Quay and what he can do. Yanze over the course of camp, I think has been consistent. He didn't really get a chance or see him today, really getting home. But he's around the quarterback. And even the limited time early on, I felt like James Smith. And so he's an important piece of that too. And it's just guys working together. And I think that's going to be the key for us is we had times where we got someone close, but you got to continue to just work together and not leave lanes for quarterbacks to run through. And I can see just everyone, every practice as a defensive line, and when the linebackers are involved in those fits, continue to surge the pocket, continue to be disciplined on upholding their job and responsibility to where all of a sudden these huge lanes for a quarterback to run doesn't happen. Maybe happen once or twice, and I would attribute that to some pretty good quarterback instinctual play as well. So I think the offensive line probably did a little better job. But there's some scheme pieces to that too, to take away so many one-on-ones and just make ourselves vulnerable. So,
thank you, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, that's Coach Kalen DeBoer. You talk about pass rush, and what can this team do better? I think it's physically getting to the quarterback and getting quarterback sacked. That's probably something last year that we didn't see enough of. And I have a question, inside the comment box or on the screen rather, that says who leads the team in sacks. And I think it's between really two people. I'd be surprised if it's anyone other than LT Overton and Quay Rusaw. I just think that those guys are going to be the two that put pressure on the quarterback, but also get to the quarterback. And I think that's an area we all know needs to be improved. And that's something that I think we saw a little bit better pass rush towards the later part of the year, but I don't know if it was like an outstanding effort from the defensive line or for the edge, rushers yesterday, this past Saturday. I'm sorry. And then the scrimmage MVPs, I think it goes like this. I think you got Ty Simpson clearly. Heard really good things about him. Just Greg McElroy opened up this morning kind of, saying that he liked what he saw in terms of the decisiveness, his playmaking abilities. And Coach Kalen DeBoer, before he got off the podium, said that there was a lane where a quarterback made a run, and that was just an instinctual play. That was Ty Simpson. I mean, people forget that this guy has a tremendous amount of athleticism. He can beat you on the ground. There's a couple. How many times did he run for a touchdown in the spring game? Right, a few times, like 45-yard rushes or whatever. Jam Miller, absolute standout. He gets a game ball. It was the second. It was the best scrimmage Coach Kalen DeBoer said he's ever seen from Jam Miller. Cole Adams as well. Heard he played really big. This is a guy who's, I don't even think it matters where Cole Adams is on the depth chart. I don't think it matters really for any wide receivers other than the big three. These guys are going to be rotated in, and there's just so many playmakers. But we can't ever forget about Cole Adams. The guy was really good last year, too, and just dealt with some crazy injuries, unfortunately. Bray Hubbard heard that thing, heard that once again he was right there making plays and kind of that staple in the defensive secondary. And then Keon Keeley, heard some really good things about Keon Keeley, who's probably, I would imagine, second behind LT Overton as a Bandit. So that's promising. Miss Ebony says that, Noah had a good showing on Saturday, which is great to hear. And Coach Kalen DeBoer talked about, Quay, talked about Yanze Pierre. We didn't hear anything from, John Latham, which, doesn't mean much. It's just, sometimes you don't hear everything about all the players. But I still think that Yanze would be the second guy behind Quay, right? So anyways, that's kind of your scrimmage MVPs and kind of, the high points from Coach Kalen DeBoer, kind of wrapping it up. He says, good. The offense early was able to really get the offense going. Jam Miller was a beast. He mentioned really good things about Daniel Hill, who we've heard really great things about. All the running backs are big. I mean, Jam Miller is even 220 pounds. Building depth is really important for the grind of the season. Said pass rush kind of flashes And, Jan Miller, once again, kind of shines. I think when you look to the defense, some other high points that we'll hit on, Nakai Hill-Green said that there was a big hit by him and that Luke Metz at the inside linebacker position looked pretty good. So, look, Alabama will go into practice. They're actually off today. They practiced yesterday. They're off today, and they'll pick it up again this week. And another scrimmage will be on Saturday. So that's kind of where we stand. But I think it's promising. I mean, you hear something from Greg McElroy, and look, it's all positive during this time of year mostly, right? Unless you get like an injury or something like that. But I feel good about where we're at. 19 days away. It can't come quick enough. I'm so excited. I was talking about it with my buddies this morning about Tommy Castellanos. And that, can you imagine kind of how that amplifies through the locker room? I mean, these quarterbacks continue to talk, and it needs just to, I'm sure it's pinned. I'm sure they play videos of it. But, man, I've never seen so many quarterbacks be talking in the summertime, right? Tommy's talking. Diego's always talking. But, man, these quarterbacks, and just like the defense said, all disrespect will be dealt with. So 19 days away, from Alabama versus Florida State. So that's where we're kind of at today. Again, if you want to get into the raffle, we'll spin the pinwheel on Wednesday. The best way to do that, Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. $10 as many times, 3 times to get into this particular raffle. We'll spin it, and then if you win, I'll work with you to get the jersey that you want. So you get like a Bray Hubbard, you want a Ryan Williams, you want Ty Simpson, you want Keelan Russell, you want whoever Athletes Thread has. I think they have all the players. I mean, they should. Ebony, you win it, we get you a Noah Carter one. So, and even if JTL's in here, we'll do something for him too. He's an LSU fan who rolls through every once in a while. But that's where we're at right now. I would stay tuned for possible nightcap. I like to go probably between that 6-7 window, whether I'm streaming or I'll come back with something else. You also have top 25. The rankings are coming out here at 11 a.m. So curious to see where Alabama is. I would imagine that Alabama is probably, like 8th? I like it. I like them being not top 5. I think that as soon as this is what I would do. If I'm Coach Kalen DeBoer, the rankings come out, I print them out, and I post them in the locker room. And I'm like, look, that is what the country thinks of you. Number 8, that's not the standard. Come on. It's Alabama. We know where Alabama's supposed to be. So kind of a taste for like some early season rat poison, which I like, right? You don't want too much rat poison. You don't want the target on your back. You want to be, have something to chase. Have a good day. Stay blessed. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for rocking with me as always. Thanks for supporting the show as always. And as new happens, we'll be back right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I hope you had a good show today. I know I did. Feeling good and really grateful that we're only 19 more days away from the college football season. That's crazy, right? We gutted it out in the summertime. Now we're like, this is kind of cruise control. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for rocking with me as always. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this fine Monday, August 11th. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the like button. Appreciate you guys supporting the product, the channel, the delivery, the graphics. Everything is from the corazon, which is the heart. All right. I love you guys. And I'll catch up with you guys next time right here on Bama Football on YouTube. See you next time.
Did you know that Bama Football on YouTube is also in Espanol? Just turn into Bama Football in Espanol on YouTube.
I'm just kidding. All right, fam. I love you guys. I'm stupid. I see you guys. All right, roll damn Tide and see you next time. And hopefully the usernames are fixed so you guys don't crash out.